Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to another segment of Unsigned Artist Reveal Worldwide. I am Sabrina Taylor, creator and host of the show. I am honored that you are here, and I have a very, very special guest who is in the green room. We've been chatting. I had a slight technical difficulty, uh, made us delayed, but not denied. I want you to get your handheld. I've already started sharing. Share, tag, let everybody know that we are on the air, and it is going to be an amazing 1 hour. I've got great music, we've got great conversation. I see you guys commenting. I see the little eye is increasing with views, and that just makes me so excited. You guys are the reason why, excuse me, you are the reason why I'm here. Well, and to introduce wonderful, wonderful guests, such as the one that I have right next to me, Darryl Evan Jones. He is here today to share his journey, and we are going to chop it up, talk a little clinic, but definitely going to premiere some music on tonight. And so, welcome, Darryl, to the show. Glad to have
Thank you.
you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And thank you for pronouncing my name correctly.
Oh,
No, no, really. You'd be surprised how many times people treat my middle name like a last name and you throw an S on the end of it. So thank you.
oh,
Yeah, it
it's
doesn't seem like a big deal, but it
singular.
is. Yeah.
There's no S anywhere, but what? Okay,
I can't. I just did. I won't say
never
what
mind.
it was, but people do that.
They want you to be Evans.
Yeah, yeah.
That is just not who you are.
That's not who I am.
But who you are is an amazing creative who's here tonight.
Thank you.
And I am just so thrilled to have you finally in the chair. We're going to chat about a lot of things, and authenticity for me leads the way. Of course, I've got some questions down here. There are going to be a lot of comments. I'll post them up there for you to see and to connect with the
Okay.
UARW family. But before all of that happens, let's just kind of chat.
All right.
Talk about what Darryl is doing these days. Where are you in the world?
I'm actually in Tennessee. Currently I'm positioned in Memphis. I'm a South Bronx kid in Memphis.
You transplanted? Okay, there is a story. I
Oh, that's
know.
the story. All right. Yeah.
I know there's a story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so how far back do we have to start to understand how you got out of the Bronx? Yes.
I'm Bronx born and raised, South Bronx for 10 years, first 10 years of my life. And then we moved to the North Bronx. And then in 1987, we left New York and moved to suburban South Jersey outside of Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I was there until '09, when a job transfer, yeah, my day job,
Yeah.
they made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Um, and the
Yeah.
day job is I'm a federally licensed commercial airline mechanic.
Are you
Yeah,
really?
yeah, yeah.
Like
So
for the the large scale? Um,
yes,
no way.
yeah. I actually when I was
Oh,
when I was 20 years old, my first aircraft mechanics job was at Philly International working for Continental Airlines, and then I went to U.S. Air. I left there and actually went to Andrews Air Force Base as a contractor and worked on the presidential airplanes for 2 years.
no
And then
way.
yeah, security clearance. Oh, and then I went to Fed. I came to FedEx, and but to get that job with FedEx, I had to relocate 1,000 miles from all creation. So here we are.
Oh boy, the things you gotta do to do what you gotta do, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow. Well, now that I kind of have a little background on you, tell me about the musical side of Daryl. Where'd that come from?
A gift from God and His sense of humor.
Uh
Uh,
oh.
no, it's just I come from a family of musicians. Growing up in New York, though I lived in the Bronx, we went to church in Harlem. and the church band was literally my family. It was my father, my two older brothers. Father played guitar. My oldest brother played guitar, and the one between us played drums. Eventually, my younger brother would come along and play bass. So it was a foregone conclusion that you were going to play something. Yeah. Um,
By
so
default, you're gonna play something, okay?
some boy. Um, and so my first choice I think was drums, but that was taken because my older brother was playing drums. And my second choice was piano or organ, but we're living in the projects. Can't nobody afford no organ or piano.
You got that right.
So,
Oh my
a
god.
buddy, a friend of mine, he was 10 years older than me,
Hmm.
from DC. He played flute and played it masterfully.
Wow.
And I chose that. So when I was 8 years old, my dad came home one day with a flute, and it was on from there.
8 years old.
Yeah, a little scrawny 8 year old too. I mean, like really, really little.
Do you know what I find when I'm talking to artists? A lot of them are like they start with drums. A lot of times, I don't know. Is that the manly thing? Ooh,
Wait, wait,
I just
did you just say
is
man,
it
because I chose the least manly instrument to play? Is that why we went there?
no?
Well, you
Oh
can say it.
no! The
Oh, I'm
flute
sorry.
is an amazing instrument. I love the flute. I wanted to play it in high school, but my band director said, "Jones, no, you're going to play the sax." I was like, "Are you
How did you get the cool instrument and I got the nerdy flute? I don't.
man?
I
I don't know. I have no idea, but I did. I wanted to play the flute. It was just so beautiful, and I thought it was just um, the way the curvature of your fingers and the way that it, I
yeah
just love that. It just was cool for me. But he said, "No, Jones, you're gonna play sax." I said,
yeah. Well,
"Oh,
yeah,
darn it."
no,
Okay.
me no. Give me a flute and the funny thing was, now that I think about it,
Hmm.
they didn't tell me no, they told my father. I was such a little scrawny boy.
Wow.
My father made sure that he put all of us
Hmm.
in private lessons.
Ah.
So he enrolled me in some prestigious school in Lower Manhattan. I don't know where my parents found money to do this because we were in the projects.
Right.
But I remember going there, and I don't think I had but one or two lessons when finally I think the man who ran the school told my father, "You are wasting your money. He is too small. He will never play this instrument."
Now, I have a problem. Was this a teacher?
I think it was the guy who ran the teacher could have said something to the owner of the school. I don't know. I don't remember who, but it was somebody, whoever it was. My father pulled me out of the school.
That's crazy. Even if it wasn't a teacher, even if it was an adult, and it was an adult,
Yes,
to disillusion a child in that manner. Did he say that in front of you, or did he tell your dad, and your dad relayed
my
the
dad related
information?
to me. Yeah, my
But
yeah,
still,
my dad
that is
related to
so,
me.
that's
Yeah,
so cruel.
but it
Oh.
is it is, but it was the first that I can recall
Hmm.
a list, a
Oh,
long list of gut punches that I
yes.
was going to receive throughout my life. But that's, you know what, that
Mm.
unfortunately that's life. Um, and
Well,
life, one of life's hardest rules is it ain't fair.
sure is not. It
So
sure is not. But you stayed with the flute. Yes.
yeah, well, I had an interesting relationship with the flute. So until my second year of high school, yes,
Mm-hmm.
I played flute.
Got it.
From my sophomore year on,
Mm-hmm.
I picked it up sparingly.
Why? Why all of a sudden just like no interest or
There was
little,
the Cliff Notes version of it is there was a scandal at my high school
Mm-hmm.
because my bandmates were jealous of me, and somebody created this fake story. Well, the truth story was that a flute had gotten stolen.
Oh.
I was the only one that the band teacher would allow to play the brand new flute.
Oh, don't
Yeah.
tell me it.
So they really hated me. So they told me the story. Hey, one of the new flutes got stolen. Everybody's saying it's you, and I laughed
Mm-hmm.
because I knew the price of of a Bundy school flute. My
Ooh,
father and mother had just bought me at the time a $400 Armstrong flute. Your flute can't touch what I have.
right.
So that's why I laughed. Come to find out, true story, they're blaming me. So my mother had to come to the school and handle the whole thing. And I'm like, you know what? Enough of this. I'm done. So
You
I
just
never really
finished.
picked it up. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't need this. So I was distracted by other interests like football, um, and football. I still love football.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, for some people, it became a very dangerous out
Mm.
for me. I played what it was whether it was pickup football or
Mm-hmm.
organized football. I loved playing defense because it gave me license to knock folks out.
I
I'm
just
sorry.
felt
I'm
that
sorry.
was coming out of. I just felt that thing rise up,
Yeah,
man, and you just confirmed it just so nicely, so eloquently.
yeah. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay because sounds like to me, somebody might have deserved. Somebody
Oh, I will not. Oh my God. I will
may have deserved it.
no. I will. Well, if someone deserved it, it was not the people who I ran into. It
No,
was
I didn't.
they were the proxies for who
Oh,
could have gotten it. So sorry.
God.
I
Cat
still feel bad
Carter's
about
Cat Carter's laughing at us or with us or
it. Hey,
both, and that is fine with me. Hey, sis, so glad to have you on the show tonight. I am just telling you what most people are thinking.
Kat.
I'm just gonna speak it because it is so true. Wow.
Yeah.
So, who are some of your influences along the way? Before you answer that, when did you decide to pick the flute back up and why? And
I
incorporate that with some of your influences.
okay. So I never fully put it down. I
Right.
would pick it up sparingly.
Got it.
Um, and then I didn't really know how to practice technique and things until about 30 years ago. And I really, I, I got into it heavily. Um, but most people would think that my influences would be your Hubert Lawses and Dave Valentines and the like. And no disrespect to them, but they weren't, uh,
Mm,
because I knew who all these guys were.
sure.
Heard of them, heard them,
Mm-hmm.
but because I was always so intimidated,
Mm,
and from being an 8-year-old scrawny little kid,
sure.
I was easily intimidated. I was always picked on. I forgot the term. I didn't know the term bullying exists back then, but yeah, I was bullied.
See? I knew that. I
So
knew that.
thus the knocking people out in football. But I digress.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I knew when I would hear them, it's like, man, you'll never be as good as them. So why depress yourself by listening to them? So I wouldn't listen to them.
So there seems to have been like a confidence
Oh my
uh,
God, terrible.
issue
No,
there for you.
zero confidence. Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So do you
So
think the flute helped to kind of take you out of the the thoughts of what was happening to you so that you could just lose yourself in your
no,
music?
no,
No?
no. Because to be honest, I really never believed in myself as a musician.
So why were you playing anyway?
I can't explain it. I don't
Come
know.
on. You
I
got the opportunity to tell me, man. What happened? Something had to happen. Think about that. Something happened.
that
What is
that
it?
kept.
But it's a gift. You know that now, right? You didn't know that then.
I did not know that then. No,
Hmm.
I didn't, because virtually everything that I did with my flute, while there were benefits, there were all these other negatives.
Yep.
So there was always a battle. There was always somebody against me. There was
Hmm.
always somebody putting me down,
Yep.
and it just didn't feel like it was worth it. But for some reason, it was.
You
Maybe I'm addicted
couldn't.
to it. I don't know. It kept calling me back.
You
So
know, have you ever heard? of if there's something that either pisses you off so bad, or on the other hand, draws you so strongly, there's something in that you're supposed to do.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
part of it is, um, I don't recall who said it,
Hmm.
or if it was even said verbatim. It was at least
Right.
inferred
Okay.
that God chose to make me a musician. So,
I can believe that. Yes.
um, with that in mind,
Hmm.
now I don't really have a choice. I can't walk away from it. When God commissions you to do something, the last thing you want to be is derelict in duty when He's given it to you.
That's
Now,
it.
He allows a lot of latitude.
Yes, he does. A lot of grace, a lot of mercy in
Oh
there,
my
right?
goodness.
Yeah. Hmm.
So and to be honest, my quest into being a recording artist did not come from anywhere except a question that I asked myself
Hmm.
little under 30 years ago. And the question was, am I good enough to do this for other people? Am I good enough to do this for a living? That was the question.
Ah.
So it wasn't for any noble reason whatsoever. It really wasn't.
And I love that it wasn't. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
I really do.
yeah. So I pursued it, and still pursue it, still work on it. But I never feel, no matter what I do, make, produce, perform, I still never feel good enough.
Mm.
Honestly, I just don't.
But when you feel like you've arrived, I'm afraid to be in your space. Mm. Because it to me, it means that there is such this unhealthy, overly confident towards arrogance,
Yes,
if you
yes,
will. That's
yes.
why I don't want to. It's like, okay, now I'm because that person says, "Oh, I have arrived." That's arrogance at its finest, and
It's fun. Oh,
I love someone who says, "Look, I know what my propensity,
yeah,
yeah, and I know that I got all these flaws, and it has to be God who wants to do something with me because
yeah.
I know me and He knows me better than I know myself." Hmm.
Oh,
And so, that being said, you are in the right place. Yes,
he,
even if you have a hint of that still at this second, that's a good thing because you're going to make me sing. Um, because you realize that I said this to Bob Baldwin when he was on the show. I said, Bob, when we all realize in this earthly walk, regardless of what we're called to, okay, so let's bring it home to music.
mm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Um, I was not made to serve myself. I mean, what
Right.
do I look like serving myself? But there are some narcissists who think it's all about them.
Yes,
Mhm. But when we realize I'm here to serve Darryl, and Darryl is here to serve me,
yes,
yes,
yes.
then it's like there's this exchange that is so real and so authentic. Now God can really, not that God can't use you, because he'll
He was what
take
he
those
wants.
unwise, those crazy, foolish things,
Yes, yes.
and you're like, dang, that was stupid, but that made some sense, right? It's only God can do things like that.
Right.
But what I am saying overall is really now your gift can flow authentically rather than it being full of arrogance, and
Yeah,
narcissism.
yeah.
I don't like being around people like
No, God would never allow me that.
that.
He would always find a way
Mm,
to pull me back. I've described myself, and this is not the case with music. It's not. But I've described myself to some friends as a wild Mustang, and
uh-oh.
God knows how to grab those reins and, boy, get back here.
Yep.
Um, but music, no. because, and part of it is because I simply have a confidence problem in music anyway.
Mm.
The other issue, well, not issue, but the other reason is because I the more you know about something, or the more you learn about something, the
Mhm.
more you realize, man, you really don't know. If that doesn't make you humble, I mean, the more I study in music and the more I learn about it, the more I delve into theory and practice technique and then get around some awesome musicians, it keeps you really grounded. So no, that for me, that's I can say confidently, that's not going to happen.
That
And
ain't gonna
no,
happen. That
no,
just ain't gonna. Yeah,
no.
I get it. I knew that this was going to fly by because the moment you guys that he popped in, we were chatty catties. You know, we were. The conversation was already really good. I have got to take a break.
Okay.
It won't be long, I promise you, but we've got to pay some bills here. So chill out, get you some water. Don't stay too long now. They're not that long. But everybody, thank you so much for coming in. If you have not already done so, I want you guys to take your handheld. I want you to share, invite, tell the people that this is great conversation. They need to get on in here, get in here and chat with us. Darryl Evan Jones is here tonight, and there is so much more to come. So don't go away. We'll be back in just a bit on Unsigned Artist Reveal Worldwide. I'm Sabrina Taylor, creator and host of the indie platform Unsigned Artist Reveal Worldwide, where the artist shares their story and I premiere their latest release. Connect with Unsigned Artist Reveal Worldwide here, live from New York City. The Loft, every Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern. Come on, join the indie community.
The highly anticipated new release, performed by Jesse J.T. Jazz Thompson.
Cape Town Coast. Available worldwide August 30th, 2024. The Platinum Agencies is taking the indie brand to the next level with customized strategies that include interviews on Unsigned Artist Reveal Worldwide, as well as campaigns on social media. Listen to what these artists have to say about us. Soul R&B artist Selena Albright says, "I believe in the Platinum Agencies and the amazing things it will continue to do for independent artists in the future." Not only does Sabrina Taylor have an ear for the best-kept secrets in the music industry, but in a market where independently made music tends to be greatly overshadowed, her platform offers a unique opportunity for all artists to be heard. Some of my favorite interviews of my career have been with Sabrina Taylor. She really knows how to ask the right questions to capture the hidden story behind the music that fans want to hear. And I've always been so moved by her ability to pair her original imagery to my music whenever I visit her platform. Soul jazz artist Cherie Patrice says, UAR is a great platform and source for indie artists to promote, expound, and extend their brand. You can always count on UAR to capture the essence, the heart, and the soul of an indie artist within its presentation. I always feel welcomed, celebrated, and in good hands with its CEO and founder, Sabrina Taylor, who puts her grand touch of elegance and excellence on every artist she comes in contact with. I highly endorse the UAR Worldwide experience. Connect with the Platinum Agencies at tpatheplatinum.agencies.com. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. I am Sabrina Taylor, creator and host of the show. I've got a great and amazing creative that is here at my side. His name is Darryl Evan Jones, Flautist.
Yes, yes,
Darryl
yes.
Evan Jones. He's here, and we've had some great conversation. Um, I'm just, I love to talk. I don't. Did you guys know that?
No,
I
no.
just, I just love it. Does it come across that I love to talk? My dad was a talker, but my dad would, he tell a tall tale. I won't call my dad alive. God rest his soul. He would tell tall tales, and people would listen readily. It's like dad. My dad could captivate a crowd, and I think I get that part from my dad. I'm not a liar now. I'm not gonna lie to you. But he would lie just, I think, to get the attention of everybody that was out there. And so, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Darryl, you are here, and
Hmm.
so glad to have you here. Now, I want you to talk about the turning point for you. I mean, I know we kind of talked about you and the flute and all the things that happened along the way,
Yes.
kind of like the bullying, and you kind of just stepped away just a little bit from the flute. But what is it that happened where you knew, I got to stick with this because there's more to this than meets the eye. What was that?
Of what I believe it was, um, just over 30 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
um, the pastor of my church that I knew all my life had died, and the new pastor came on, and there was this revitalization of energy. Not
Mm-hmm.
that there was not the energy there with the previous pastor, but
Sure.
there it's just this turnover. It's a new beginning and everything, and this new excitement. And the, we had a big choir and big band and all this, and you just felt you just wanted to be a part of that. So
Sure.
got me back playing again. And our minister of music, um, I think he has at least a master's degree in music, and his tutelage, it impelled me to want to become a better musician. It had nothing to do with becoming an artist, just becoming a better musician. And I learned so much from him. His name is Anthony Lamb, and Anthony, oh my God, the way he would delve into theory and make it where we could understand it, and then give us principles that we should learn how to practice this, and your scales and this, that, and the other. So that really, it was interesting to me and made me want to be better. um, but it wasn't until, I'm guessing, a couple of years later or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I actually spent a summer in Providence, Rhode Island, with US Air. And I stayed with an old family friend. He was like an uncle to me.
Mm-hmm.
His name was Sam Harrell. Sam Harrell was known around town as, they knew him as Big Sam from Alabama. And Sam was actually
Love it.
a local drummer. So I was had a very strict church upbringing, you know,
Got
and
it.
Sam knew this. But Sam, I remember one Sunday after church, we got back to his house, and apparently his norm was he would go to church, and then in the afternoon and evenings he would go hit the clubs and play. So since I was there, I remember how nervous he was when he came and asked me, did I want to go and play? And I'm like, sure. But he wouldn't tell me where.
Ah.
So we rolled up to this club in East Providence. A club was called Snubs. It was the first club I ever played at. And we got out of the car, and he's kind of looking and looking. And as I start walking towards the club, he's like, oh, I guess we're okay. So we went in. He knew everybody, of course, introduced me, and I just kind of caught the bug there. And that's
Mm.
that's when everything started.
Yeah, changed the whole trajectory,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah,
Yeah. And that was a good thing.
yeah. It was.
So for the sake of time, fast forward a little bit for me and tell me, what was it that um, changed or impacted, I'll say, rather than change, I love the word impact. What was the impact in, um, the things that happened along the way that kind of shifted you into the professional side? What types of were there other musicians? Was there some pivotal moment, something that happened? Share what was it that said this is professionalism. And I know I kind of asked that, but I'm trying to get to where you are today to know, you know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, because you also said, even now you're still not like as confident in what you're doing as
Right.
far as the flute, but you do it so well.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's a tenacity in you that I could not have seen. I could.
Yeah, there it is. The tenacity.
Go ahead, take it away.
Known to some people as stubbornness. Um,
Ah,
um,
mm,
it's partially a Jones trait. It's
I'm a
also,
Jones.
yeah,
I'm.
yep. You know how we be.
I
Uh,
know how we be. Hmm.
it's it's also to me a matter of faith,
It is. Yep.
because God allowed Jesus to love on me
Yep.
and give me an assignment.
Yep.
And because I believe it to the point where I know it, regardless
Mm,
how I feel about it, I can't abandon it. It's not an option.
nope.
They say failure is not an option. It's not. I cannot walk away from this. He never gave up on me. How do I give up on the mission he's given me?
You
So
can't.
I can't. I just and people have, oh my God, they've applauded. Oh, Darryl, you stuck with it, and this, and I'm thinking, yeah, thank you, but you really don't understand. I can't walk away from this.
You don't know the story of my journey, right? Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
And that's amazing. What was one of the first major opportunities musically that you had?
I'm
Uh
sorry.
oh.
I'm laughing because I'll never forget this story. I'll try to make it brief. So back when I was that summer I spent in Providence, I went to a
Hmm.
concert. It was a benefit concert,
Got it.
but the key players of the benefit concert were the headline with Jeffrey Osborne, Al
Ooh.
Jarreau, Grover
Ooh.
Washington Jr., and Sinbad.
Ooh.
So
Nice.
I had this plan in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
and here's how it played out.
Okay.
They were all on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Osborne comes down into the crowd with Sinbad because he wants
Yep.
somebody to sing like he always does on the Woo Woo song. He got a couple of people to sing, and I had the audacity to bring my flute to the concert, put it together, walked right up to the man, right in the center of the theater, and he had to let me play a solo, and he did. The
Ooh. Of
crowd loved it.
course they did.
Grover loved it. I know Grover loved it, and Al loved it because Grover invited me backstage after that. And the
Yeah.
plan was for us
Mm.
to work together on a project.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, talk about highs and then lows.
Yeah.
Before we could ever get together, he passed on.
No way,
It was
Daryl.
he was actually getting ready to do Saturday Night Live. He was going to perform on Saturday Night Live, and next thing I knew, Grover was gone. I was so deflated. Oh my God! I knew I'd arrived, and then somebody took that rug and said no.
Ooh, yep. All the air came out of that balloon. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. But what
Yeah.
do? You gotta pick yourself up
Keep
and
on
figure
pushing.
out how to keep moving.
Yeah. Yeah, because it can become debilitating if you allow it,
If
right?
if you allow, see, there's that choice word again. You
Hmm.
have
If.
to choose, and I,
Hmm.
I chose not to. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I knew I couldn't sit still.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And Sharon says, and I love that. Sharon, thank you, my sister. What an intentional move, Daryl.
Yeah,
You've got to be intentional because God's intentional with us.
that is very
He
true.
doesn't. He doesn't throw something up against the wall and say, "Hey, that
No,
might fit
no.
Sabrina."
Just like I tell people all the time, and people take this the wrong way because they won't hear the whole thing out. I tell them,
Mm.
God has never invented a thing, and they get offended. I said, listen to the word I said. I said invent.
Invented. Yeah.
God can't invent. God creates.
He's a
Invent.
creator.
Invent implies trial and error. There's no trial and error with God. God knows exactly what He's doing.
Mm-hmm.
We got to figure
Mm-hmm.
stuff out.
But you know what? You brought up a very valid point. I don't want to take up too much of your time with my standing on a soapbox. But, you know, we are made in the image and likeness of God.
There you go.
He's our creator. And so, hence, we are creators with a
Yes.
little c, right? And so, when there are what humans deem trial and error, is it really trial and error?
Yeah.
Is it really? Think about it like this. If we never take the step in the direction that we're going, because there are never mistakes, it's just a redirection of sort, right? And
Okay.
I can say that because I used to say, "Dang, I made that huge mistake. I am so embarrassed." Blah 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 blah. Kicking myself for what reason? Because had I not done that, I may not have been. We don't know. I may not have grasped whatever was coming out of that as a lesson for me.
I
Maybe
know.
somewhere else down the line, but
I
maybe not.
knew that's where you were going. I knew it because that's what I was thinking. So I can see that, and now viewing it through that lens, I see the value in that. Because if we could simply, if we were allowed to simply always go from A to Z,
Yeah,
just straight there,
yeah,
we wouldn't appreciate it. It would
nope,
really have no value.
right.
We need to zigzag and
We do.
learn from those things and see the
Hmm.
value. Yeah. So I see where you're going with that.
Yeah, and on top of that, speaking of zigzag, we're we're not our own. I don't belong to me. I just said that at the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, we belong to each other here on
Right.
the earth. But, God is a creator. And so he puts us on this path. So we got to know that we need him because if we didn't, we'd be some, and there are some who don't think they need God. But in any event, my point is
We'll learn today.
those of us who know, yeah, we learn how much we really need God.
Yeah.
And the way things have gone now, we keep resorting back to the COVID thing. I think COVID just opened our eyes a lot more of how frail humanity really, really is. We were going 100 miles an hour with nitrous.
Yes. Yes.
We were eventually going to crash and burn at some point. And I am so happy. I'm glad for myself, if not for somebody else. I'm so glad that the whole world, not just me, because I would have beat myself up because I'm hard on myself,
Right.
but the whole world had to come to a halt and they had to look at themselves and the people that they were with. They had to do the kind of like this analysis of ourselves,
Yes. It was a
to
wake up call.
see if we are what we see.
Yeah.
Yes,
It was definitely a wake up call in
huge.
retrospect,
Yeah,
and even during in the moment of it.
yeah,
Excuse me. I looked at it that way because it's really easy, and even if we don't mean any harm,
yeah.
as humans, we can be so arrogant and think we actually have things in hand and we've got
Mm,
control and we put ourselves on autopilot.
yep.
And it was as if God said, autopilot, huh? Disconnect. Now what you gonna do?
Now, exactly.
Yeah.
Hanging from a limb,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sharon, I thank you for this. This is kind of like one of my, she
Oh,
doesn't know.
Sharon's right. Yeah, she
Like one of my, yeah. She says, I believe that missteps are opportunities for growth.
absolutely.
And I love how she calls them missteps.
Yeah.
You see, she never called it failure, right? And
Oh,
I love,
I don't mind failure. You know why? Here's why I don't mind failure. Because regardless of what you call it, it's still the same thing.
yeah, I get it.
The only thing that matters is how you look at it. Because this is not mine. I got this from somebody. Uh,
Okay.
he said when you were a child and
Mm,
you were trying to learn how to walk, you failed a lot. You kept falling. But
right.
did you stay there? No. You learned what to do to stop falling. The failing is not the end. It's
Hmm.
what you do about it that matters.
It is.
So
And so and then we got to get back to your music, but this is so good. But it's falling to me versus failing because my, my what I know of the word is the word says God always, not sometimes, not every now and then, but he always causes us to triumph. He
Yeah.
always. It that there's not an option, there's not a
Right.
maybe,
Right.
there's not a sometimes. He always, and I have to remind myself of that
Yes.
when I'm going through some things. When I say I failed, you didn't fail. You did not. That was a like Sharon says, that was a misstep because had I inquired of the Lord, and sometimes I'm going to raise my hand if nobody does. I don't always inquire of God when I make decisions. Some of the small ones I think I can handle the small ones. Probably those are probably the ones I really need to inquire of. But anywho, um, but had I inquired,
Hmm.
that misstep, that might have been a pitfall that I could have avoided because he's not going to let us be blindsided. We've got to be in a position to hear.
Yeah.
Okay, let me shift because we could be on this for like 2 and 3 hours because you are just speaking my language and I love it. I love it. I love it. I want to talk about you as a creative. I want to talk about, do you write? Do you produce as well?
Yes.
What does that look like? What does
On
that
this so on this project, with the exception of the two covers,
hmm
um, I wrote or co-wrote everything. I wrote everything.
Oh,
The on the run I co-wrote with Adam Hawley, and forgive me, I
oh,
can't remember, there were three of us that wrote it. But
yeah.
for me, making music, it's the oddest thing to most people.
Mm,
For example, people would assume, well, you play flute, then you've got to start with a melody. uh,
mm-hmm.
no, not always, and almost never. In fact, in most cases, most songs that I record my flute on, I have no idea what the melody is until I get to the mic. I'm
Got
not making
it.
that up. I will come up with a bass line or a chord progression or a rhythm and build a song around it. Almost never
Ah,
does it start with the melody for me.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's odd, but
Hmm.
it kind of fits when you think about a 5'11", 200-pound football player mechanic playing flute. None of those things go together. So
But
why would
that,
it make sense?
but that's what makes your world go around.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I love that. I love that. So Adam Holly, I heard that name.
Yes.
So Adam Holly is the producer,
He well he no he
or
pro- he's co-writer and producer of On the Run.
on the run.
Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the other tracks, Resilient, Road Trip. Resilient was produced by a friend of mine who's also my drummer, Taz
Oh.
Fields. Cortez.
Hmm.
It was Cortez Fields. We call him Taz.
Hmm.
And then and then the grind was produced by a young cat named Gavin Newsom, another Memphis guy. Taz and Gavin are both Memphis, but my main producer is actually out of Fort Washington, Maryland,
Hmm.
and that's Alfonso DeSell. So, with the exception of Taz,
Hmm.
I never saw any of my producers, and the
Oh.
only musician I saw was one of the bass player. I might have seen a keyboardist too. I might have seen
Yeah.
one keyboardist and one bass player. Other than that, I never saw anybody.
So until Resilient, how many other projects did you have out there?
Three.
Three.
There was On My Own, Dream, Relentless, and now the counterpart to Relentless, which is Resilient.
So were they CDs like
Yes.
Resilient? Or they were
Yes.
all, so why, you know what? That is a rarity. It is a singles market. Why CD? Are you the journey minded kind of person you want to, or what was the analogy of doing a CD versus singles?
Originally with Resilient, I really intended to do a bunch of singles and
Hmm.
then encapsulate it later
Oh,
as a CD.
yeah.
Um, I won't go into it, but certain curveballs were thrown uh,
Hmm.
that made it not conducive to follow through in that vein.
Got
Uh,
it.
but I had a plan, and and the plan, it was, let's just say, it was largely thwarted by certain entities. So
Got it.
yeah, I'm actually glad that Resilient came through as a package project, uh,
Right.
especially now that people get to just correlating the titles, the song titles with the songs, with their sound and how it progresses to the end. People can actually see this journey
Hmm.
when they see all that from Resilient to the last track, which is Thrive. Uh,
Got it.
but yeah, I trust me, I've thought about that a lot, and one ingredient also was that I had gotten to the point where I had said, you know what, I'm sick of all this.
Ooh.
So I'm going to put the album out, and if it doesn't work, I'm done.
Was
I
this Resilient that you're talking
oh
about?
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was so sick of so much nonsense, but
Oh, wow.
then I had to regroup and come to myself and come aside and take counsel with God. Like,
Yes.
son,
Like,
no. So he let me put the album out. Um,
yeah.
and so there's a whole lot that I'm working on to get people to hear and embrace this project. And in just a couple of short weeks that people have been getting tastes of it, the my God, the response has been humbling, really, really
Let,
humbling.
let me ask you this. Of the three, so you have Dreams, Relentless. So your first CD.
It's on my own.
Um,
You probably can't find that. I
so
don't think.
there, and the reason I'm asking is because when I started looking, um, in what's out there, on you, there was an album that just said Dreams. What is that? 2006.
Yeah,
It's
Dream. I
it's
had it.
purpley looking.
Yep. Yeah, it was actually supposed to be blue, and the CD the CD company messed it up, and it
Oh
came back
my!
purple. I'm like,
And I love purple. That's
like,
like
but
one of
purple's
my.
great, but
But
electric blue is
that,
my favorite color. It was supposed to be blue, so it was purple.
oh,
But yeah, Dream is actually the second album.
the second.
On the Run was I'm sorry, On My Own was
On
the
My Own was a
first.
first.
Yes, or
And
On
then
My Own is out of
Dream.
circulation, thank God.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, Dream, which I
Dream.
probably will get more copies of, physical copies. And then, my God, you can hear the growth from Dream to
To
Relentless.
Relentless.
Oh wow, wow!
Yeah,
And then from Relentless to
to
Resilient.
Resilient.
Yeah,
Oh, along the way, did you ever get any offers from any major labels
no,
to sign? Did you want to ever be on a major label,
I had
Darryl?
mixed emotions about that because knowing what I know about the industry, there are pros and cons to that.
There are a lot of pros and cons.
Unfortunately, most artists, if
Yeah.
they're honest, they feel once, oh, I got a record contract, and they feel, oh, now I've arrived.
Mm?
Did you
Yeah.
read that contract? Um, it's not the be all end all.
It isn't.
It
Mm-mm.
really isn't. And sometimes, most times, you will find yourself so far behind the eight ball
Mm-hmm.
that it was never worth the ink you signed with.
No,
So
no.
for me, it's kind of like the analogy of being famous
Mm.
but broke. So would you rather be everybody knows who you are but you got no money, or would you nobody knows who you are but you are well?
And that's the pro con. The
Yes.
pro is they were able to share you with the world. Now people know your name, your face, that you are a musician, a singer, whatever that may be. Okay,
Mhm.
now, like you said, they know you,
Yes.
but you're broke and you're shelved. You know,
And they control
and
every
every
single
aspect
aspect
of
of
your life.
your career.
Mm-hmm.
So is it always worth it? Most times it's not.
Not.
But
Mm-mm.
people, and to a degree, I understand it because
Right.
the average person who's not in the business, they
Mm-hmm.
also think that, oh my God, that's the ultimate achievement. Hey, they got a record deal. Okay. And now I'm locked in for 5 records where you have creative control. I can't
Correct.
put what I want on my own record,
Doesn't matter.
You release how you want, what you no, no,
Hmm.
no.
And
I
yeah.
want to do I want to do right by me,
Mm,
by my audience,
yep.
because if I do those things, I'm ultimately doing right by God. So I'm
Yeah.
not anti-record deal.
No,
It's
no.
got to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, no, I'll stay in.
Right. And so you have your own label, speaking of
Yes,
which,
Jones Star
or
Entertainment,
Joan Star.
Jones Star Entertainment. Yes,
And yeah, I saw that. So is it for your benefit only, or do you plan in the future to connect and network with other artists to
I've always
sign?
I've always wanted to collaborate with other artists
Yeah,
as an artist and with my label. I've always
got it.
wanted to do that
I love
because
that.
I don't. We've all heard it and we've all even said it. For
Yeah,
example, and it's usually whether it's sports or music. Somebody says, "Oh, this so and so is the greatest ever," and I always stop people and I say, "No, they're the greatest you've ever heard of or got to
right,
see or hear. There's
right.
somebody somewhere that is
Hmm.
incredible that the
Right.
masses have no access to."
Oh man,
I
I
just want to
think.
help give people a shot. And as I told a friend of mine yesterday, I said, "Listen, it was I just saw him. I just saw him flash up there." I said, "This is not from a point of laziness.
Yeah,
Don't want the whole pie. I just want my
the
piece of the
part that.
pie. I don't even want your piece of the pie. I just want
Yep,
mine."
just yours. And I love Ron. Stop it, because you are starting something here. Major artists are going indie. Usher has gone indie.
NDRE.
Um, India Ari, Mesa, Gerald Albright. Um, who is the other one? Gosh, Will Downing. Uh, all,
Tyrese.
all of these artists now are just they're like sick and tired of being sick and tired.
That's got to stay coming.
Whatever that is,
Ah,
I can't call it because they're not here for me to put them on the spot.
right.
But I do love that, they have Anthony Hamilton is an indie. Look at that.
Wow.
It is so amazing how they're but here's the thing about the majors, and it concerns me. And that's really why, and we gotta I'm if it's just one drop in, we've got to do one more break. But the large indie, which was a major,
Hmm.
they've got a lot more resources, right? And so what I don't want to see is them drowning out the artists who were struggling and are still struggling to be known.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's on these charts now, because I've seen you guys work so hard, and
Yeah.
I'm working with artists every day, and I see the struggle. I see the politics and all that's involved
Yes.
in it.
Yeah.
All of the clicks and the networks, and I see it all. I
Yes.
just don't want them to get lost in the new scheme of the majors becoming indie artists, because then now that kind of pushes the indie artists in another direction, if you will.
Yeah.
And so I think having platforms like this
Yes.
and Friday Night Live with Kat Carter,
Yes, indeed.
I think when we are kind of rooted, and you guys know we're here, and our brand grows, right? We can continue to service the indies that we love, the indies that we know, to help keep them funneling, to help give them a voice, continue to give them a voice, because the majors have money. I mean, and that's what it's about. Whose money is going to buy the most radio time? Whose money is going to get them on, the major charts? I don't have to call their names. You know who they are.
Well, when you think about it, no matter if it's the majors with their machine,
That
or
right.
or the indies with those who support us,
Hmm.
there are both symbiotic relationships.
Correct.
Now, the difference is that with the indies and our support system, you
Yes. Yeah.
that symbiotic relationship is true and pure.
Yes.
It actually one benefits the other, and they rely on each other,
Yes,
and
we do.
one is not trying to torpedo the other. Where
Mm-mm.
in the majors, it's insatiable because
Ooh.
you are a machine, and you
Yep.
have to keep feeding that monster.
The
You have to feed
monsters.
it at any and all costs. Again, not against them inherently, but I understand how the business works.
I do too. I do too. Boy, we need another hour. And this has been good. This has been good. I mean, just really, really, really good. I love it. I've got to take just one quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the song that I chose from Resilient, which is the title track, Resilient. And we're going to take a listen to that. And I just love it. I know this has got to go to radio, but I can always edit this stuff down to fit 59 minutes and 59 seconds for them, you
Okay.
know. But
Yeah.
right now we're live and this is good conversation. And we're just going to continue until the legs fall out of this thing. Uh, but in any event, I love our guest, Darryl Evan Jones is here. And we've got just a little bit more before we get to the premiere. So you guys don't go away. We'll be back in just a few moments. Um, just get that little drink and come right on back here. You hear me? All right. Join us every Monday at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time to hear the stories of artists you love and discover artists you'll learn to love on Unsigned Artist Reveal Worldwide via Facebook and YouTube. We are expanding. You can locate us on 7 affiliate radio stations, rebroadcasting Unsigned Artist Reveal worldwide segments around the globe. Come on, join the indie community.
The highly anticipated new release performed by Jesse JT Jazz Thompson.
Cape Town Coast. Available worldwide August 30th, 2024. All right, everybody, we are down to the wire, and I'm so excited. You know, Mondays are like my favorite days of the week because I just get to talk to all of these amazing creatives, and I get to showcase their music and chat with them, find out, you know, the ins and outs, the whys. I love the whys, and they're all different,
Yep.
believe it or not. But the commonality is that it's about music, and that's what we love. That's what we love. You have a CD that is out recently, with just days ago.
Just Friday. Yeah.
Yep, Resilient. Why the title Resilient?
As I mentioned, it's the counterpart and answer and close cousin of Relentless. Um, Relentless is it's in the journey. It's the traits you have to have and the attitude you have to have on the earlier part of the journey. Not that it ever goes away.
Right.
You're really just getting started, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you want this thing so bad, but you've got to be prepared that there going to be pitfalls. You're going to be knocked down. You're going to be beat
Mm-hmm.
up. The whole bit.
Mm-hmm.
So the resilient part comes in where, okay, you got knocked down. What you going to do? You're going to stay there. So it has to. Now you regenerate. You get up and you charge forward again. You know, okay, I'm going to take some shots, but
Mm-hmm.
so with resilient, and if when you all get to see it, you see the album cover.
Mm-hmm.
I had my graphic artist do this behind me, this split imagery of on one side it's storm clouds and
Yep.
lightning and
Yep.
dark mountains and raging water, and on the
Mm-hmm.
other side the sky is beautiful and clear, and the
Love it.
mountains are gorgeous and the water's calm. That's coming out of the storm. That's resilient.
I love that. I love it. Well, let's take a look and listen to the music premiere tonight, Resilient, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. I want comments and feedback. We'll get that in just a little bit. Enjoy the premiere right here on Unsigned Artist Reveal Worldwide. Ooh, wee.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
That's all I got for you
Wow.
tonight. Is an ooh wee. Ron was like, well, somebody called, what do you say? Somebody called watercolors. I told him, you should have seen me texting. I told him,
Oh,
oh my God, that is,
thank you. That
that's
really was.
playing guitar. I mean,
The guitar. Okay, so
woo,
guitar is Steve. We call him Steve O. His name's Steve Bethany. Um,
I'm tired.
Taz and
I,
I turned the guys loose on this. Now, so I wrote the song and then I trusted Taz to
Jeez.
push it and make certain changes to it. It's actually, believe it or not, it's actually a gospel song. And Taz was like, okay, yeah, but this part here sounds too churchy for me, so we ain't doing that. We're gonna do this instead. So he twisted that. We got Steve O, that's Taz on drums. I believe that's Devereaux. I think his last name is Williams. Sorry, Dev. I believe that's Devereaux on keys. Believe it or not, two different bass players,
Look,
total bass players. And Taz cut it up, put it together, made it sound like one. And
that needs to go to radio.
yeah, anybody got a hook up at XM? Tell a brother. Just hit me.
Oh my god!
I'm,
It needs to go to Sirius XM.
I have no shame. If
It
look,
is
beat up somebody.
so good. When I tell you, I said, "Oh my god!" What I mean, look, we've got fireballs from Marquita Hayes. We, I
Thank you,
mean,
thank you.
this is your feedback. Yes, sir. 100. You got yes from. I mean, my
Great guy,
gosh, I'm
really
telling you,
great guy.
this is a great song. And you know what, guys? I'm gonna tell on him back of house before we got on the air. He was like, but let me ask you, what? And so, what was the reason that you chose resilience?
Why you gotta do it like that though?
Uh-huh, I'm gonna get a brother. I am going to put you on the spot. Now,
God,
do you know why I chose resilient? I have always had an ear for music. I mean, even back in my teenage days when I worked in radio, and I was just kind of that was just a part-time job for me, something
yeah,
that, you know, I didn't care, but the general manager, he saw something in me, and the music director had gotten sick, and when she stepped to the side, I just kind of walked in there loving all this vinyl. There was vinyl for days.
yeah.
I would spend hour after hour in there, and all I wanted to do was know where everything was. I cleaned up the place. There was music on the floor, music on the desk, music over here. I tagged everything, put it away in alphabetical order, put it, or based on when it came in. And then every week, Paul, he was like my sweetheart in the day, Paul Todd. Um, he would say, "Hey, let's grab this music and go and listen to it in the production room." And then the general manager would come in. He's like, "Hey, Sabrina, I didn't know you." And then every week we just started listening as a team. And then the general manager saw that. And when I kind of walked away to try to pursue a record deal, I was in and out of the radio station. And one day he called me. He said, what do you want to do?" I was a kid. I didn't know he was trying to give me a job as a music director. I was like, "Psh, I want a record deal."
Wow, wow.
And so I say all that to say I've always been able to hear hits. And
Okay.
I wasn't trying. I just knew what sounded good in almost everything I lay my hands to, or I say, that's the one, or you should consider this or that. It never fails. That it just it explodes.
It's the one I wanted. It, but and I'm
Ah,
not. No. Honestly, God is my witness. Um,
wow.
in my humble opinion, there are some really, really good tracks on this album. I wanted Resilient for radio, but like you and I talk, I knew that most radio people would feel uneasy. The same thing happened with Relentless. The hottest song on Relentless never went to radio because the promoter at the time was uncomfortable, and he was confident that Smooth Jazz Radio would not feel comfortable with it, would not play it, and it was mostly because there was like a rock guitar, especially on the intro,
Mm.
and I'm like, so, but it's an instrument, right? And,
It-
whatever. But thank you all so much. I'm so excited about the album and especially that title track. I don't, as a general rule, I don't listen to my stuff because
uh,
I'll sit there, it's critique it and pick it apart and then just get angry. But
that's
thank
the
God,
song.
that song is ridiculous.
It's the Jush.
Yeah. Yeah,
That is what I'm tagging for that. It's the Jush. And
absolutely.
any radio promoter in the smooth jazz industry, Jason Gorov, Smooth Jazz Global, David Coonert, all of you guys, Linda Penn, all of these people that I'm throwing out there, these are radio promoters. You need to listen to this. And I guess they say, well, does he have the money? I got the time.
Look, as I said before, shameless plug. If somebody's got an in at Sirius XM,
Yeah.
I will hook you up. I don't know what that looks like. Maybe it's a lobster dinner I'll pay for. I don't know, but I believe. Hey, you help a brother out. I don't forget my friends, and I don't forget
Oh.
favors. I do not, and I'm learning a lot about friends, by the way. But that's another story.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to tell you that's a great song
Thank you.
and it should be considered for radio for all that it's worth. And all the programmers, all jokes aside, radio program directors, music directors, you need to get your hands on a copy of this and you need to go in whatever room you go in to make decisions and you need to consider putting this on your regular spin. I know there's light spins, medium spins,
Minute
it's
heavy.
heavy rotation and all that. I get it. I get it. I get it. But this is hot.
Thank you.
This is really hot. So tell me what it is that would just, make your heart swell to hear someone who's heard your music say,
This
yeah.
actually happened.
Mm.
I played at. This was at an assisted living facility. I played, and this when I was done, this older lady got up and she came over to me with tears in her eyes, and she told me how my music touched her soul,
Wow.
and I was so taken aback. I was almost speechless, um, because I understand, in my understanding, in my faith, why God allows musicians to be musicians.
Mm.
And as I try to explain to some younger musicians, I get it. We are who the people see and hear. I get it.
Hmm.
I said, but please don't get it twisted. It was never about us. It never was.
Ever.
We are just a vehicle that God chose for whatever purpose He
Right.
chose
Yep.
to allow us to do something. But at the end of the day, it was to touch someone else.
Mm.
That's what it's all about. So when someone else is touched,
Mm.
that mission is accomplished on such a high plane,
Yep.
and God is glorified.
Yep.
What what is higher than that? I mean, really, honestly, I'm not trying to sound so profound. This is
No, I get it.
basic to me.
Yeah.
To be higher than that, I reached that person's soul with something, with a gift God gave me.
Hmm.
It's just nothing better than that.
Well, we want you guys to connect with him. I am putting up um, at least a couple of his socials. Visit him at dejmusic.com, and that's the hub of everything. Go on his website, check him out, see what he has. Definitely go and download Resilient because it is an amazing product.
Thank you.
And yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Are we going to tour at all this year? Are we trying to tour?
God knows I'm trying to tour. I've got some hit list, bucket list spots on
Yeah.
my desire, my wish list. Some are in the States and some are not. Uh,
Ah,
yeah, I've always wanted to take my music internationally.
and you
Uh,
should.
I don't want to, just no disrespect to anybody, I don't want to be a
Mhm.
big fish in a small pond.
Right.
There's a great big world out there, and
Mm.
a lot of people in different countries, their minds are more open to music than certain
Hmm.
other places. I'll leave it there.
Of
But
course.
yes, I
Yeah.
I definitely intend. I don't know how I'm going to work it out with work, but
Mhm.
I I intend to tour.
Well, we want to see you live. We want to see a show, and that is, that's how you garner more love
Yes,
fan and followership.
Yes.
And I try to remind, and I'm going to continue to do that. I haven't on the last few, but when you're out, just ask people to follow you. Any
I,
opportunity that you can do that.
I, I
Um,
I always do that, and in
yeah.
fact, when you all go to social media, um, don't look for Darryl Evan Jones because it'll take you to my personal page. Go to Darryl
Hmm.
Evan Jones Music
Got it.
and follow me there, please. And I appreciate all the love and all the comments and the likes, but share it with folks. You know, bring
Yeah.
your friends along, ask them to follow, and ask them, to listen to the music and support it.
Wow.
This is a mission here, and I'm inviting everybody to be part of the instrumental soul. You heard it here, instrumental soul mission.
You you heard it right here. And I love it. I love that you came to visit us, and you've shared so much with us, and man, it's just never enough time. And I say that a lot, but there is just so much great music that's out there.
It is.
And you are part of that crew. Your collective is amazing. Your library, you guys, he does have a library, so go and check him out. He said Darryl Evan Jones music. Well, there we go. Um,
Oh wow,
you
you did
know,
it fast. Wow.
well, I'm just trying to follow your lead. You
Thank you. Wow, I did not expect that to happen.
Of course not. See, I'm a woman of, I'm every woman. It's
Yeah,
all
there
in
you go.
me.
Don't invoke Shaka now. Ooh, don't invoke Shaka.
Okay. I love her.
My
Well,
favorite.
listen, everybody, I do appreciate that you came on tonight to listen to us talk about all kinds of things. I mean, from clinic to church to our beliefs to what we know to be true, the industry,
Yeah,
and to premiere his music as well as allow him to share his heart with you. And I just love the storytelling of these artists. For me, that is what it's about. So you can get closer to him, get to know him. If you can't touch him physically, doggone it, you can kind of touch him through the virtual part
yes.
of the storytelling, and that's what it is all about. Listen, you guys, I know it's a little late, but we're finally at the end. Remember, what you make happen for others, God will make happen for you. I love you, sis. Cat. Friday Night Live with Kat Carter has been in the house all night. I
Wow.
appreciate her for coming on and just lending her support. She's a queen, such
That's
a
my little
sweet
sister.
spirit.
That's my
Um,
little.
huh?
That's my little sister.
Oh, see there.
She meant I got. She's such a blessing. I mean, if I
She
had
is.
time, I would tell you how the things connected, and a lot of it started with her.
Oh wow, Kat is just amazing, and she's so supportive of a lot of the indie artists, and so
Absolutely.
her and Jazzy K Ward.
Yes.
I don't know if you have been on his show or
Yeah.
not, but
Not yet.
check him out. He's someone that you should know as well. Well, listen, thank you guys for the kudos. I'm getting great interviews. See, Kat, there you go. Love you, sis. Amazing interview. Oh, hearts, 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 and more back to you. And you guys, listen, take care of yourself. Self care is so important, right, Sharon Lane? She'll probably say, yeah, that's right, self care. Oh, but you guys take care. I will see you next week. I've got, of course, another awesome creative that's coming to Unsigned Artist Reveal Worldwide. You guys take care of yourself. Darryl, don't you go anywhere. I want to connect with you before this is over. So, you guys, you take care, and I'll see you again next week.